Hey guys, it's Yodi here with a new video discussing greater rifts on the PTR. Some of the information is probably known by most by now, however there might be a few things in here that you might not know or simply be helpful. So let's start. For those of you who don't know, Greater Rifts is a feature that will be implemented via the 2.1 patch when it goes live. They're sort of like a time challenge that increases in difficulty the higher in level you go. The better you do in the lower difficulties, the faster you get to the higher ones. So, how exactly do Greater Rifts work? Basically, after completing a normal rift, you have a chance to gain a Greater Rift key from the Rift Guardian. This key will then allow you to open a level 1 Greater Rift. The Greater Rifts will not provide you with any loot or gold from normal monsters or elites, however the Rift Guardian will make up for it. Depending on your luck, I've seen him drop from 0 to 5 legendaries. The rift level itself doesn't seem to affect the number of drops. You will still gain experience in them, and depending on the level you manage to reach, it can go up to insane amounts, beating every single leveling method so far. You will have a 15-minute timer, which you will have to beat in order to advance to the next level. The progress of your rift will be indicated by the small skull above the progress bar on the right, in orange, the lower skull representing how much time you got left, in blue. Upon defeating the Rift Guardian inside a Greater Rift, he will then drop another Greater Rift key for you. The faster you complete a Greater Rift, the higher your next Greater Rift key will be. For example, level 1 Rift being extremely easy, your next key might be for a level 12 Rift. The difficulty will keep increasing the further you go, and to give you a rough estimate, at least from what I figured, level 25 to 26 is around Torment 6 level. Once you fail a rift, you have to start over with normal rift and acquire another Greater Rift key for level 1 and go through the whole process again. Normal mobs and elites count towards your progress inside the rift, as well as the new red globes, which you can see in the image. Remember to pick those up every time you kill an elite or a goblin. When you successfully complete a Greater Rift, you will be ranked on the leaderboard, depending if you did it solo or in a group. There are separate leaderboards for each class, solo, as well as 2, 3 to 4 players. So, let's talk about what works and what doesn't work inside a Greater Rift. You can't switch your skills while inside a rift. Gear swapping is also disabled. Small note here, you can however TP to town and do both of the above, however the timer will keep going, so you will be wasting progress by doing so. If you teleport out of the rift to repair, the timer will keep going even if you're in the town, so it's a good idea to remember to repair in between Greater Rifts. Harrington's belt is completely useless because there are no lootable objects whatsoever. Well, to be fair, I've seen one chest in like 20 rifts and 2-3 bookcases, but besides that, yeah, there's like no point using it. When you die, you can only resurrect at the last checkpoint. Good things to remember while doing a Greater Rift, which are also tied to the things I mentioned before. Repair between every rift. On higher levels you will die, and you don't want to waste any time having to go to town to do it. The larger the map you have inside your rift, the more careful you should be of not dying, because you'll have to run all the way back to where you died, wasting precious time. Do not waste time on 1 or 3 mobs on higher difficulties, because the progress that will count from them is minimal. Try to round up as many mobs as possible and kill them together with AoE. Some maps are extremely large and will have a lot of time running between mobs. Try to get a mobility skill to actually minimize the downtime between killing said mobs. Remember to pick up the red globes from elites and goblins since they count towards the progress of the rift. Try to predict where to go since some of the patterns inside the maps are familiar to the ones you've seen before, so you don't get stuck in dead ends. Some maps are unpredictable though with multiple paths, so that won't always be possible. Now let's talk a bit about the good and the bad about Greater Rifts. The good, they actually balance the mobs to give proper progress depending on their difficulty. What I mean is, take for example a pack of rats with low HP and not dangerous at all. They will barely count towards your rift, while Act 5 mobs with a lot of HP will give you way more progress after killing them. The bads, well, there's lots of randomness. Some maps, Pandemonium Fortress, the floating rocks from Act 5, Keeps, the Furnace, can be really annoying at times. Small corridors where you have to fight with no room to maneuver, as well as decreased density in some cases, having you run around more than actually killing mobs can be quite annoying. Also, a good chance in some maps to get in a dead end, in which case you'll be wasting time and most likely failing on higher levels, not due to your skill but simply because of bad luck. Density can be very random at times and quite frustrating if you run into a streak of bad luck. Hopefully they will figure out something out to make those maps more forgiving, let's say to have an equal footing and be less RNG and more based on individual skill. Either way, I personally find this quite exciting as a feature since it will bring some sort of competition that this franchise needed. Hope this was helpful for you, some of you guys, and don't forget to like or subscribe if so. About Demon Hunters on the PTR, all I can say for now is I will be making a video later after I've tasted everything, but so far from initial impressions, it seems to me that it's pretty much Marauder 6 set, either physical or fire, both pretty much equal in my opinion, while the rest still lags behind. So yeah, until next time guys.